Hello, BookTube. Got a little mail for you on this howlingly windy day. Just 4 packages, not the epic mail haul that we had yesterday, but we'll see. There could be something fun in here. Let's take a look. There's no law that says that a mail haul has to be a gigantic basket full of boxes. There's no law that says a mail haul has to be half an hour long. We'll just see what we have. Okay, all right. Okay, this first one is an April release. This is the finished paperback. I feel terrible that I haven't got to this yet. I will get to this. This is comes out on the 16th. I don't think that's a hard and fast date. This might be in your bookstores already, depending on how good your staff is. But we've seen it already. This is just the finished copy. This is Young Ha Kim, translated by Chris Lee, and it's Diary of a Murderer and Other Stories. And the pub sheet compares it to Haruki Murakami, Raymond Chandler, and Albert Camus. And it says that the author has earned a reputation in Korea as one of the most talented and prolific writers of his generation. And this is his first ever collection to be published in English. And that I'm tempted by that word prolific. Because this is the tiny thing that I'm getting, and he's written a lot more. I want to see it. I want to know more about it. But this is just a collection of short stories. It starts with a novella called The Diary of a Murderer, in which a former serial killer who suffers from memory loss plans to come out of retirement for one final murder. His daughter's fiancé, who the serial killer believes intends to kill his daughter. That's who he's going to kill. His daughter tells him not to worry, but who, if anyone, are we to trust? In the 3 stories that follow, we witness a family's disintegration after a baby son is kidnapped and recovered years later, a comic, erotic ride about pursuing creativity at all costs, and an affair between 2 childhood friends that questions the limits of loyalty and love. I'm very intrigued. I just haven't got to it. I've been bouncing all around in my reading, all over the summer and even the early fall. And that's got to stop. that's really got to stop. I've got to impose a little more order on that, or I'm going to miss things just because I'm not paying attention. Let's see what this next one is. Do you want to bite this bean? No, piggy. Okay. All right. I think we saw this already. I think this is a finished copy. I think this is going to be a paperback that we saw already. Is that right? Yes, this comes out in August. Okay, no, it's going to be a hardcover. I don't know where I saw this before. I know that I have. Well, anyway, this is by Marlo Ben, and it is Relative Fortunes. The year is 1924, and the women's suffrage movement is celebrating a hard-won right to vote and the fighting for still more liberties, when 24-year-old American Julia Kidd arrives back in New York City after a stay in England. A voracious bibliophile, Julia dreams of publishing books under her own imprint and cares little for politics until the death of a high-profile suffragette puts her right in the heart of the women's movement. The book is set at the height of the Jazz Age amid the early gains in the women's movement, and it explores the thrills, challenges, and social upheavals of the Roaring Twenties and features an unforgettable heroine coming into her own. Okay, well, I'm kind of interested in the bookish side of things. I wonder if that'll be carried through, or if that's just the start and will be discarded early on. Well, this comes out on August 1st. So let's move on here to, we've got a couple of cardboard packages, and then we'll be done. A relatively quick little mail haul here. Not sure if it's all the mail that I'll get today. Let's see. What is this? Okay, this comes out in July. It's a debut novel. You all know how much I love debut novels. This is Madeline Fitch. This is Stay and Fight. And I'm not making fun. That is her name, Madeline Fitch. This is Stay and Fight. Let's see. Her funny and fierce debut, I probably wouldn't have gone with 2 adjectives that start with F if this was my author's surname, has already been taken booksellers by storm, drawing comparisons to the very writers who have praised its originality, wit, and wisdom. The author ponders essential questions about what it means to be free, what constitutes a family, a mother, and what truly makes the land we own our own in this fearless tale of environmental justice, rural living, and family. It isn't long after Helen relocates from Seattle to Appalachia with her boyfriend that things fall apart. Facing winter on her own, she finds herself taking down trees with her ex-boyfriend's stubborn, government-hating alcoholic boss, Rudy, and struggling to survive. Soon, Karen and Lily, pregnant with their first child, a son whose imminent arrival means they must leave the Women's Land Trust, fall in with Helen to form a most unforgettable family unit. The three of them build a house that barely stays up and does little to keep the weather out. Black snakes occupy the hidden corners of the cabin, hence the cover, and fetid microclimates invade. But their home becomes their elvish sanctuary, away from the disapproving and ever-encroaching outside world. Okay. All right. So it's a debut. The author intentionally moves the action to Appalachia, which makes me wonder. I always worry when authors write what I refer to as hicklit. I always worry that they're just trusting that Appalachia will be a shorthand that will do their writing work for them, and that they won't need to do it. And also, I can't help but think that one of the lines here is being a little euphemistic. When Karen, Lily, and Helen form an unforgettable family unit, the line is, the three of them build a house that barely stays up and does little to keep the weather out, but their home becomes their elvish sanctuary, away from the disapproving and ever-encroaching outside world. I have a feeling that that line is meant to be away from the disapproving and ever-encroaching outside world of men. But I could be wrong. We shall see. It seems like the men in this story are losers who leave. We'll just have to see. So this comes out in early July, and it's a debut. That's a lot of fun. And then we'll do our last one here. Don't know if, like I said, I don't know if more mail will come today, but we have plenty of other things to talk about, so we don't have to worry. Oh, God, it's more fiction. Okay. Okay, this is the finished copy of Christopher Tillman's Thomas and Beale in the Midi. Lovely thing. In finished copy. This comes out in April, I believe? Yes, April. And this is the third book in what is called the Mason saga. And I have not got off my hiney to get the other two volumes, to find them. The pub sheet does not describe the book. It's just covered in blurbs. Okay, this is the other two, I believe, are Mason's Retreat and Right Hand Shore. And this book is set in 1892. Thomas Bailey and Beale Terrell, Thomas and Beale in the Midi, and their white son, the white son of a landowner and the black daughter of a farm worker on a Chesapeake estate, have escaped from post-Reconstruction Maryland to France in order to live as husband and wife. They begin their new life together in Belle Epoque, Paris, where Beale, beautiful, indelible, thrives as the subject of fascination among a gaggle of American artists. Thomas struggles to plan a future and decides to buy a winery in the southwestern region of France called Languedoc. In this rugged landscape, Thomas begins his career as a vintner, but it is here, back in the farm life she thought she had left for good, that Beale must figure out what her marriage has made her and who she wants to be. This is a novel of Americans in Paris, the art life of a bustling Latin quarter, and the émigrés to the fashionable 7th arrondissement. It is a novel of ancient mysteries of winemaking and the wild French Midi. But mostly it is a novel of young marriage and the unlikely coterie of friends, a Catholic nun, a Jewish painter, a Basque teenager, who helped Thomas and Beale see what began at a farm in Maryland named Mason's Retreat could be a love affair for the ages. And you see, I'm worried because I don't think I've read either of those two first books. I'm worried that I won't get a lot out of this if I don't. So I really should get off my aforementioned hiney and get the other two books. But there you have it. That's a lot of fiction. So we have Thomas and Beale in the Midi in a finished copy for April. We have for July, Stay and Fight, about an unconventional family group in Appalachia. We have Relative Fortunes by Marlowe Ben, which is a Julia Kidd novel. It's a murder mystery series set in the 1920s. And we have Diary of a Murderer. This is all fiction. We have Diary of a Murderer and Other Stories by Young-Ha Kim, a Korean sensation who is prolific. Those of you who might know this author, does anybody out there know this author? Does he have anything that isn't short? Does he have like a great big novel? a Steve kind of book? That would be very nice to know. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.